Whatever. All right, guys. What's going on? I'm doing another story time video again. I got a cleaner shirt this time. I think you can see my nipples. That's weird. I'm in LA. Beautiful view behind me. But I don't even know what I'm going to title this video. It's going to be kind of it's totally not clickbaity at all. It's a story of I was helping somebody out get financing. Not financing. Pretty much they were looking to get an investment. So they needed my help. And pretty much, I guess, because I'm even thinking the title, what I'm going to call it. It's like Naked Hedge Fund Guy Gives Me an Investment. But so this is what happened. Okay, my friend came to me with an idea. And he was like, yo, man, it's a really good idea. You know, I'm not going to share it with you guys. But it was actually patentable. So he actually had something, you know, decent. That's something I'll be willing to work with if somebody had that. Good friend of mine. He was like, yeah, man, like, I know this one guy, you know, I helped him out before. My friend was a driver. So he drove this guy, and he's like, yeah, like, dude is Wall Street hedge fund guy. He's made a ton of money. You know, dude sits in his room all day, trades stocks, lives in a crazy house in Santa Monica, does this and that. So he said the guy was not only able to invest, but he talked to the guy and said, hey, I want to invest, you know, or I want to invest, or I have a great idea. And the guy told him, listen, I'd be more than happy to consider it. Just come to me with a business plan, have the plan, all that. So that's where I came in. So my friend called me up, said, listen, here's the idea, shared with me. I liked it. Told me he needed me to kind of make this presentable, and even he wanted to get me on the team. So to use, I guess, my track record and business background to get an investment. And it started out normal as first, but it got so weird, okay? So we go. We set up the meeting, and this guy was like, he was a financial advisor and handled the money for Pete Rose, the baseball player who got I think he got like in trouble for betting on his games. But so he goes, called us over. We go to the house. It's like a 4-story house in Santa Monica, right on the water, like fucking one of the nicest houses I've ever been to. And he comes in. We go, knock on the door, we're waiting, and he brings one of his friends with him. It's just this nice little like Mexican girl. She's super sweet, one of the sweetest girls ever, honestly. She's one of his friends. She came with us, and then we go, open the door. We knock on the door. Someone opens it. It's his butler. This guy, you know, I cannot make this up. The butler's name was Carlton. That is what, so I was like, okay, even perfect. Literally, he looked like Carlton from Fresh Prince. And we go. He's like, okay, yeah, you know, I'll call the guy. I kind of don't want to use his real name, so we'll call him Nick, is what we'll call him. Kind of sounds like his real name. But he's like, yeah, Nick will be with you in a second. Yeah, let me show you guys upstairs. He took us to like the 3rd floor. You just see the ocean right when you walk up. Literally, like fish tank in the wall, like just crazy shit. And we just sit down there and we chill, and we're chilling there for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and like it's so funny because then we're sitting there and these 2 girls just come walking up the stairs like fine as hell, like just dimes, and they come up out of nowhere and like they're wearing bathing suits. I'm like, okay, that makes sense, you know, this guy's lifestyle, it's what he does, you know, it's a house on the beach, 2 girls come up in a bikini. You know, things didn't click. You know, I should have known when they were so friendly with me how this was going to turn out. Nothing crazy happened like that. Well, you'll hear. Super friendly. They start like smiling at me. You know, they're just very talkative and like just too flirtatious. Way too flirtatious. Okay, I don't even show my face. I'm an ugly dude. Okay, so that should have been the first sign. And they go back downstairs. So I was like, okay, we talked to him a little bit, whatever, we're waiting. And then all the while, man, in the other fucking room is Carlton, just has like 6 screens. Literally, he's playing RuneScape or League of Legends. I don't know what he was doing, just literally playing video games. And we go, and he gets called downstairs, and Carlton's like, oh, he says Carlton, calls him, like rings him through the phone in the house, Carlton goes downstairs, and I see him, and he picks up a fucking Polaroid camera. Literally a camera, like, you know, with the... Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. He gets that, goes downstairs, and I'm just like, okay. It just didn't click with me at the time. And so that happens. And then we're still waiting. I'm waiting there about probably an hour now at this point. So all this happened. I'm not really, and it's so funny because I'm literally wearing a suit. I was still a lot younger, I guess, when I actually cared to wear suits. I really don't. At this point, I've done enough where, if you don't like how I dress and you call me into a meeting, yeah. But we were dressed so nicely, sitting up there for an hour, just like rehearsing with the guy, telling him what I'm going to go over, making sure. I was pretty nervous. I'm not going to lie. This guy, great record. We were asking for about $250,000, $250,000 or $500,000. Got a business plan. I had like a huge document in writing, and finally we get called down. And he calls me and my friend down. We go downstairs. Carlton walks us over, and the first thing I see when I walk down is literally a tray. There's the dude's bed. He calls us down into his main room, his living room, and there's a fucking bed in the living room. And right there is a tray. You will have no idea what was on this tray. It was literally like little vials of medicine and syringes. So I'm looking at there and I'm just like, yo, like, is this dude like old and senile as fuck? Like, I was even getting worried because then I was like, holy shit, man. This guy just called me to do an investment. It's going to be some senile old fuck who's going to be doing this shit. And, I was like, oh man, like this is bad. Like, this guy can't even make an investment. Like, he's not even in the mental capacity. Oh, was I wrong? So there's that. And then the guy's sitting there in his bed, naked. This old 70, 80-year-old dude, all fucking old and wrinkly and all that, is sitting there naked. Can't make this up. So I'm a little shocked because all I see is these syringes, and I'll tell you what the syringes are for. He sees those little syringes, needles, TV on the wall, and there's literally porn playing on the TV. So I'm here dressed up in my nice suit, walk downstairs, see a bed in the living room, porn on the TV screen, and syringes on a tray. And it's an old 80-year-old naked dude. So I'm sitting here with this big old document in my hand. This is probably one of the first times, this is why I'm even sharing the video with you guys, because literally, it's probably one of the first times I was like, I did not know what to do. I was literally knocked out of my element beyond anything. And so I'm sitting there with a document. I'm like, okay, this is getting weird. And that's it. Wait, are you leaving right now? Oh, okay, good. Let me know before you leave, man. Yeah, okay. I can't let you leave without saying bye. But sorry about that. But no, so I'm sitting there. I sit down with the document, and then there goes those two girls that we saw from upstairs. They walk out naked. And they just go sit on the bed next to this guy. They're like watching this porn, and they're just sitting next to him. And then another random girl comes out naked. And these are all like 20-year-olds. I'm telling you, like, this is weird. And he's like, hon, give me a pillow. And he literally takes a pillow, puts it over his dick so I don't see it. And he says, so, what are you here for? And I am just scratching my head at this point. And it's funny because I started to piece things together. I was like, oh my God, these girls are prostitutes or porn stars or whatever they are. And this guy was just doing stuff. And it's funny because I'm not even going to tell you guys what the syringes were for. I'm going to tell you at the end what they were for. It's funny. So get some thoughts now while you think about that. But literally we go and I begin pitching this. And all the while I'm giving this investor, the guy likes it, but this is the most cynical fucking dude in the world. Like, so not only now am I just sitting there with just rattled by this whole, I thought this was going to be a serious meeting, and this guy is in the middle of fucking hoes and doing this shit. And literally there's just naked girls watching me as I'm sitting in this chair staring at an 80-year-old naked dude. And then I'm just like, all right. And then on top of that, I start talking, and every time I say one word, I'm not even like able to pitch it. He just turns Kevin O'Leary. And this guy is just literally just belting out just challenges to everything I'm saying. And like, so I'm already shook it up. And like, I thought I answered him pretty well. But we go, I explain it to him. And all the while, it's funny because he actually did challenge me with some, good questions. He's asking me, he's like, okay, so does the company have any money? I said, no, it's pre-revenue. We have not made money, no products. He's like, okay, well, you better have a fucking good valuation. He's like, why am I about to value your company at $5 million or $2.5 million? I was like, okay. I said, that's why we're here to work with you. I said, even we could do convertible debt to, not give too high or low of a valuation early on. And, if we get investors, he liked the idea, believed in the company. He gave me notes. And then eventually he said he would give us the money. And he said, yeah, just fix the things he wanted and he would give us the money. So I was like, okay, not bad. And then just literally like halfway through, we start talking about it, and then all of a sudden, this girl just comes out, another girl, a fourth girl, comes out with like, literally like those whipping things and stuff like this. And she's like, are you ready? And I'm like, oh my God. This guy literally, he's like, okay, so I guess we're done here. We'll meet back up later and we'll go from there. Oh, and then all the while as this is ending, and I'm like, okay, I didn't want to shake his hand. I didn't want to. It was weird, Imagine, how do you shake someone's hand in that situation? I didn't. I was like, okay, well, I'll leave you be. Do your thing. Like, I don't want to fucking touch him. Like, so he goes and does that. And as I'm getting up to leave, here comes fucking little Carlton with his little Polaroid camera. And I see him where he picks it up off the counter when I walk out. And it's just like taking pictures of this dude, like whipping girls, beating girls. And like, he's into that shit. And they're like, yeah. I told my friend when I walked back upstairs, I was like, yo, did you know he does this? He was like, yeah. I was like, oh my God. He's like, yeah, like he pays girls to beat them up. I'm like, what? This shit was new to me. Some of you, this may be new to you, but that's LA for you, okay? I'm telling you, that is Los Angeles, California for you. There's some fucked up people, man. So I was a little weirded out by that, and it's funny, I'll tell you when we leave the house, and then he even offers the girl that we were with, that little Mexican girl, he offered her $2,000 for him to punch her. What? So we go, we leave, and I don't know if I was like hysterical or like, I was tripping out, dude. This was the weirdest meeting of my life. Weirdest thing by far. So I end up going, and we leave. I told him, yeah, he's willing to invest and do this. He just needs us to fix a couple things or address some of his concerns. And so we go, we're driving, and literally like in the car I was driving back. I was just like it felt so surreal. It felt like this was probably fake. And I was just like, no way that happened. No, I was never like, I just got knocked out of my element so hard where like it was weird. I was just like cracking up, like I couldn't stop laughing because I was like, I was like, I don't know. And then I was even in my head, I was like, do I do this? Do I not do this? I was very, very conflicted. And I'll tell you, because I'll give you guys the moral of the story, because this is a crazy, crazy story. It's very weird, but there's a reason why I'd want to share it with you guys. There's actually a moral of this one, and that's what I wanted to do with some of these story time videos was to have a moral as opposed to just kind of some random thing. And this one's business related. This was just one of my crazy business deals, and the thing that ended up happening, I talked to my friend about it. I was like, it took me a couple nights to think about it because off of the first, I was gone. I could not even think after that. Like, I was so in shock. I was like, what would my mom be saying about this right now? And like, if this is how he operates on a day-to-day basis, I do not want that as an investor. I do not want to answer to this fucking crazy fuck. I was like, I do not want to go back to that house. And it was so crazy because I was just mind boggled. I was like, yo, man, this is like such a nice house. This guy has tons of money. This is like, he's just into this weird stuff. Like, this dude cannot find happiness in any other way except beating up naked hot women. Like, what? Dude, I was just, so many things were running through my mind because like I wanted the money, I wanted to do this business, I wanted to work on it with him, and I was like, yo, like look at the downfall in the back end of this. So I was just like, yeah, no fucking way. I eventually decided not gonna take the money, not gonna do it. Just totally said no. And that's the more, you know, I'll tell you guys, don't work with people. You know, sometimes you may have offers. I would say don't take them if you don't feel right about it, or if somebody shows you their character. I would not want to work with anybody in business in that. And I'll tell you this, usually if there's a difficulty in the beginning, that usually sums up the whole relationship. You know, if I have issues working with you on a project from the get-go, I think that's how it's going to, how do you think the ending is going to be? So I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't feel comfortable going back to that house again. You know, some people may be into that shit, you know, like it. The girls, pretty women, multi-million-dollar homes on the water, LA, like, but I just couldn't do it. And I said, you know, I told my buddy, yo, here's what the changes he needs to make. I'll document them for you. I'm not going to make the changes. Just do whatever you want, man. I love you. You know, I don't judge you. I don't judge anybody. But I'm not fucking associating myself with this shit. And that's another thing. Don't associate yourself with people like that. You know, I'll tell you that. And I won't even tell some people this stuff because I don't want them to, you know, seem like I'm into that stuff or represent myself negatively. But you know, I want to share the real world with you. There's crazy people in the world like that, and there's some people who are into some weird stuff like that. You know, I don't support it. It's simple as that. You know, the real world is you're going to encounter it. I know, at least I do. You know, I encounter some weird people every day and different walks of life. I don't judge them. You know, I'm not going to judge the guy, say he's better than me, I'm better than him. No way. But I will not choose to work with somebody if that doesn't align. You know, I don't believe in that stuff he was doing. So, end of the day, there's the moral of their story. Now I'll tell you guys what the syringe is for. The syringe was literally, so this guy, he's 80 years old, he cannot get a boner. It was literally so he could inject his penis and get hard to have sex with those women for whatever time period. Mind-boggling. I didn't even know that exists. I thought he needed even a nurse to administer that. These girls were fucking professional, man. They were getting their money, you know, do you, boo-boo. But weird shit, man. So that's the story. Hopefully you guys see the moral. We got the money, didn't take it. Be careful. You know, that's a little bit to LA. If you guys want to hear, again, this is the second story time, a little bit more crazy now. This one, I didn't. It's funny because my buddy was in the room. He was explaining. He wanted to hear because when I told him this, and even then my girlfriend, she was just here, but I told her, she's like, you never told me this story. Like I said, you know, this isn't a story I like to tell people all the time because it's like, it's raunchy, you know what I'm saying? But it has a deeper meaning. That's why I'll share it with you guys, and hopefully you guys could learn from it. And, you know, I guess because this is what I was thinking when I was driving back, you know, don't make a deal with the devil. That's the best way to put it, you know. What good is having the whole world if you lose your soul? And like that shit was running through my head, you know. And sometimes you could justify, well, I'll do good with this money, I'll do this, but don't make a deal with the devil. That's what I felt like, and I just couldn't do it. So hopefully you guys see the moral. Hopefully you guys learn from that. You know, share more of the business side with you, but hope you guys like this story time. Subscribe, like, share this fucking crazy video, especially if you didn't know people get injections for things like that. Yeah, I really hope you guys enjoy it. Love you all. Stay in school.